Okay. I always like working with this exercise in person, so I'm going to provide you some questions or an opportunity to think a little bit about what I'm asking. So I'm going to pause a little bit when I ask some questions here. But this is exercise 8.3 and it deals with the round function. There's only one time where I think as students, I always ask, hey, what do you think of when you think about rounding? And the first thing every student says is grades. We talk about rounding our grades. So rounding is just that. It takes a value to a specified digit to the left or right, and then it rounds that number up or makes it larger or smaller based on the value, right? And that middle ground is 0.5, all right? The round function uses two arguments, the value to be rounded and the number of digits you want to round to. That's what we're going to talk about here in a minute. If the second argument is 0 or a negative number, the rounding occurs to the left of the decimal. So my question is this. You're sitting in Mr. Heitkamp's class, this is hypothetical, of course, and you receive an 85.49. No, let's take that back. You're sitting in Mr. Heitkamp's class and you get an 89.99. Is that an A? I would imagine many of you are saying, yeah, that's an A. But I want to ask kind of a question. What's my grading scale? Well, it's 90.0 to 100. It's not 89.99. And some of you are probably going, well, wait a minute. You just round the 99 up to 90. And you know what? I agree. All right, so we're not talking about that. I agree. But what about if it's an 89.95? Does that get rounded up? Does the 0.95 get rounded to 0.99, which gets rounded to 90? And a lot of you at this point in time are saying, okay, I get it. What about this, though? And I think I want you to ask yourself, where do you stop rounding up to an A? Is it 89.9, 89.8, 89.7? I bet for a lot of you, you're saying 89.5. 89.5 is an A. And again, here I agree with you, but that's not the purpose of this exercise. So if 89.5 is an A, maybe I should have just made my grading scale 89.5 to 100. But let's go deeper. Is 89.49 an A? Some of you are going to say yes, and some of you are going to say no. I've done this question, I've posed it enough in my classes. So it makes me wonder, like, why don't I just make my grading scale 89.5 and just say I don't round? Because essentially what I would be doing is rounding anything anyway. I don't know. It's just something I always think about, and I'm always curious about your reaction or your answers as a student. So let's go ahead and move on to the actual exercise itself. Let's click cell G7 in the Formulas tab. So we're going to go to cell G7, and we're going to click the Formulas tab. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is found in the Math and Trig section. So here we are in Math and Trig, and I want you to locate round. I want you to hover over it first, and I want you to read the screen tip that says it rounds a number to a specific number of digits. So, again, two arguments, the number of digits and the actual cell. So go ahead and choose round, and in the number box, choose F7. We're going to round 1.2. All right, so here's the first argument, the number itself, and how many numbers are we going to round it to? And we're going to put in num digits as 0. So we're going to round to no decimal points. At this point in time, you should know that 1.2 rounded to 0 decimal points is 1. So go ahead and click OK. All right, it does show the answer in this box as well. And the answer shows up in cell G7. It rounds down because the value of the decimal point is less than 5. Go ahead and take this formula and copy it down to cell G12. And now edit the cells with me or along with me here, and let's see what we get here. Let's take 1.6, then 3.2. We see that 3 rounds down, 1.6 rounded up to 2. How about 5.5 Okay. Let's go down here and change 7.8 to 7.2. Rounds that down. So you can see how this changes a little bit as we're working through it. And that's the great thing about Excel. You make a change and the function or the formula updates. Let's undo those last 4 steps that we were just taking a look at. 1, 2, 3, 4. Return those numbers back to where they were. That's the completion of exercise 8.3, beginning the round. Don't forget, there's 2 arguments in it. It's the number itself, or the cell, and the number of digits you want to round to. We'll talk more about the number of digits here after a bit. Say this is 8-3.